I would love to really talk about Ratchetdemics. Would you
Mm.
please talk to us about that term, the term Ratchetdemics, and explain the framework behind that?
First of all, now you sign me up to do the shameless plug. You know what I mean? Hold up.
Listen,
Da, da,
listen,
da,
bro,
da.
both of us,
Da,
okay?
da, da, da.
Nobody's
Yeah.
wrong.
Like,
Nothing wrong
talk
with
to
it.
him. You know what I mean? Yo, okay. So Ratchetdemic is, of course, my new book, Reimagining Academic Success. If y'all listening, go cop that. It's fire. But the notion behind Ratchetdemic is a response to the existing structure of schools that says that being academic or intellectual has to look, sound, or behave in a particular way, right? It's a notion that, like, if you're an academic or an intellectual or you're a serious student, then you've got to walk a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. You got to answer questions a certain way. You've got to raise your hands and be appropriate and be like it's an established notion that says for Black children to be intellectual or academic, they have to learn how to perform white norms. Or if not white norms, they have to learn to perform a subjugation of the authentic identities to be seen as smart. And historically, Black expressiveness, Black joy, Black liberation has always been attached to our ability to let go of pretense and operate with truth. And oftentimes that's been identified as ratchetness. Like, and Black women in particular have been assaulted with the moniker of being ratchet, right? Like, she's so loud, she's so ratchet, she's so extra, she's so ratchet. And for me, it was an intentional decision to name it Ratchetdemic, because a lot of, like, I was talking to some brothers, and brothers was like, yo, but like, that's real gangster, name the shit Gangsterdemic. And I'm like, nah, this is not Gangsterdemic. It's a claim ratchetness, right? A thing our sisters have been framed as, to wear that as a badge of honor for all of us as Black folks. You know what I mean? And so to be ratchet is to be a little extra, to be a little verbose, to be a little bit colorful, to be a little bit expressive, to a little bit loud, to be a little bit free, to be a little bit performative. You know what I mean? Like, just but when you see young people who express that, before they open their mouths, before they can show you what they know, before they can share their potential with you, schools will say, oh, they those kids are not intelligent. They're not ready for school. They're so ratchet, they're not ready. And so Ratchetdemic is about constructing a new identity, putting on a new framework, turning on a new lens that says that we and our babies can be equal parts ratchet and academic. Ratchetdemic is a re-theorizing of the landscape of education that says that Black excellence looks swaggy, sounds extra, that the merit of what we offer the world is not predicated on our respectability, that our excellence is not predicated on our subjugation. You know what I mean? That our intelligence is not requiring us to be endorsed by how an institution sees we should be, but rather to say that we can do what institutions want us to. We could be smart. Like, I'm not trying to like talk about me, but we're in a season where we talk about us, right?
Yes.
I'm degreed up. You know what I mean? Like, people can say what they want to say about me. They could say, oh, he's a little loud, he's a little much, he's a little extra. Say whatever you want, but guess what? I'm degreed all the way up. You know what I mean? Like, so there's nobody that follows an intellectual and academic tradition that you could put in front of me and make me feel less than. I got what they got. I got all the degrees they got. I don't work at the Ivy League institutions. I done did all the things that them cats you could put in front of me got. But guess what I got that they ain't got? This sauce.
This swag, okay?
This swag.
Yes.
This hoodness. This loudness.
And
this extraness.
And
these bars. And so I can be me and beat them at their game at the same damn time. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I think that our babies don't know that yet. They know we love them. If they're lucky, they get a good Black educator that says that they're loved, right? Yep. We get a good Black educator that says, you smart. You could do something. We always tell our babies, I see something in you. You can get there. No one ever says to them, you are there. And so to be Ratchetdemic is to let young folks know, listen, you ain't got to sacrifice no piece of who you are to be able to get these degrees.
Yep.
You got all that genius in you already. And all we're doing is creating a context to allow you to be able to reveal what already exists.
Yes.
And so Ratchetdemic for me is a new theoretical framework. It's a new approach to education that is intentionally disruptive of the status quo that says that excellence and intelligence only looks a particular way. And in the book, I write about, I'm sorry if I'm taking a little time, but in the book, I write
please
about
do.
the roots of the notion that we got to choose, like where that comes from, this plantation pedagogy that we have inherited, that we play out in contemporary schools with Black children. So I think about where that idea comes from. I think about why it's important for us to be able to push back beyond it. And I give examples of ways that we can operate with a more ratchetdemic identity that reimagines academic success. So that's what Ratchetdemic is. The framing, the sensibility that requires a new way of existing in the world, so we can walk into our genius as we are.
No, I love that, and it's funny because sometimes I feel like thinking about it in that way. I mean, I can already tell from the comments and tell from my own reaction to it. Right, you're giving voice to a lot of the struggles that us as Black people have. In a sense, yes. Shout out to one man's books here.
Oh,
Please
that's
make sure
love. Thank y'all for throwing them joints on there. And
So-
real quick, since they up, keep them up real quick. I hope y'all peep, like Ratchetdemic is called Reimagining Academic Success. The other joint, STEM, STEAM, Make Dream, because I'm a scientist and work in STEM, like that book is called STEM, STEAM, Make Dream, Reimagining Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. So I like Ratchetdemic is for us to get the philosophy of how to do it in the world. Then I'm like, yo, how do we do this in science and tech and engineering and math? Even when we get to the point where we tell our babies that they're genius, we don't tell them that they're scientists. We don't tell them that we're mathematicians. We don't tell them that they're engineers. So Ratchetdemic and STEM, STEAM, Make Dream, I put them out at the same time because I want to embody the idea of like, who says I got to do one book at once? I'm going to do 2 books. What you gonna get mad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ratchetdemic is a larger grand philosophy. STEM, STEAM, Make Dream is how you do that in STEM and in STEAM. So thanks for putting that up there.
Yes.
And my posts, I ain't going to cut you off, but I seen them joints, so I got to, I have to elaborate.
I love it. And I love how you're like, who said I can't put out 2 books at once? Yes, I can, because I was in his lab. I was writing. So I love that. But what I was going to say is just all of that you're speaking of, like you're giving voice to, I think, a lot of struggles that people have within this education system, or Black people who are working in what is it's a white dominated field. Let's just call it what it is. But I've been judged so many times. I'm from the South Bronx, right? Grew up, born and raised from projects, St. Mary's Project. Shout out to my family. But one thing, like when I'm in spaces, I always say when people like, tell me about yourself. So I'm like, what is a good description I can give, right? One of the things I lead with, I'm like, yo, I'm a hood rat. And people will look at me crazy, but I'm like, I know what that means, right? And I'm not saying that I'm a hood rat in terms of like, yes, I got it out, I made it. At the heart of who I am, like I am hood, right? Like I understand, I connect with that, like all of that. And I don't think that I should hide that. I don't think that I should shy away from that. That is the identity of who I am. I want other kids, I want younger kids who are looking at me to be proud of who they are and where they come from, and don't think that when you make it to a certain point, that's an identity that you have to shed, be embarrassed by. And it's also not, I don't want people like, oh my God, you made it out the projects. I mean, people are going to make it out of anywhere, struggle like I'm Black. This is what I do at the end of the day.
And there's always another struggle if you're Black in America. I mean, let's talk about that too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the struggles
like, I made it out the projects. Oh yeah, they're gonna put another barrier. It is what it is. And what we are as a people is that. And I love what you said about the hood rat, because it's like, yo, you're like, I'm a hood rat. What does that mean? It means I know how to make something out of nothing. It knows I know how to navigate multiple circumstances. It means I know what the taste and feel of poverty is, and able also to be able to walk with kings. It means I'm able to be able to understand different perspectives. It means I know how to operate with noise in the background and still concentrate. It means I'm multimodal. Like being from the hood, these are gifts. Are you tripping?
But that's what I'm proud. You know what I mean?
And so I think like I love that you embrace that.
Always, because I'm proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to try to portray to be something that I'm not. And I think that premise of like what Ratchetdemics is, and it also like, yes, I'm from the hood, super educated, like you said, bro. I'm degreed up.
Degreed up. You already.
But I've been through a struggle that you never will understand and never been through, and that's why folks like you and I can connect with young people.